Now for the news in detail. In local news, Prime Minister Ratnasiri Wickramanayake claims that there is no further room for local and foreign terrorist shadows.
The Prime Minister queried as to why other countries have begun to interfere in Sri Lanka's internal affairs. He also queried as to what its civilization was. Refraining from interfering in internal affairs was included in an agreement on foreign polity mooting the diplomatic service. Sri Lanka is a signatory of the Vienna Convention in this respect. It is the masses who would take decisions of the incidents taking place in the country. The Prime Minister observed that it is they who will sort out the issues. He said they only will bow down to the decisions of the people. The Premier was addressing a meeting to consolidate the Victory of Freedom Alliance candidates of the Puttalam district. The meeting was organized at the Harendra Korea grounds in Chilab. A large gathering was present.
Sri Lanka's first commercial wind energy plant has been commissioned. It will further strengthen the generation of power.
Prime Minister Ratnasiri Wickramanayake commissioned this wind energy plant put up at Kalpitiya in Puttalam. Power generation will be undertaken with the support of monsoonal winds experienced in the Puttalam area. It is a pioneering effort in Senok. Expressing views at the opening ceremony, the Prime Minister said,
"In the new period of accelerated development, with the dawn of peace in the country, it is necessary for Sri Lanka to be largely self-sufficient in our sources of energy. Wind power is one such source bestowed on us by nature, which can make a major contribution to the mix of resources to give us the maximum energy to meet rising demand while protecting the environment."
Senok company has installed 8 wind turbine generators brought from India. Officials said the plant is estimated to generate 28 million kilowatt hours of energy a year. Minister Professor G.L. Pires, Milroy Fernando, Niomal Pereira and K.A. Vais, Northwestern Governor Thissa R. Balala and Chairman of Senok Noel Selvanayagam were present.
The official poll cards of the general election are being handed over to the Postal Department. The Postal Department will commence the distribution of the poll cards among the households from tomorrow. Accordingly, the handing over of the official poll cards by the Election Secretariat to the department took place today. The Secretariat said the distribution of poll cards will continue until the 31st of this month. 28th has been declared as a special distribution day. Those who do not receive these poll cards can collect them from the nearby post offices until the 4th of the next month by consolidating their identity. Action has already taken to step up security to post offices where the poll cards are being kept. Sri Lanka is looking for more flexibility and backing from multilateral lenders as the country emerges from a war and a global crisis and is planning sustainable growth for the future. The observation has been made by Finance Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara. He said Sri Lanka was looking forward to a wider cooperation with the ADB and JBIC when addressing the fiscal consolidation phase. Sri Lanka wants to move from a $2,000 per capita income country to a $4,000 to $6,000 economy. Dr. Jayasundara was addressing a regional policy forum organized by the IMF and the State Bank of Vietnam, in which the Asian Development Bank and Japan Bank for International Cooperation were represented. Dr. Jayasundara said at a policy discussion in Hanoi, in a panel chaired by IMF First Managing Director John Lipsky, that recent intervention by the IMF during the island's economic crisis was encouraging. It demonstrated flexibility by encouraging local authorities to take ownership. Sri Lanka also expected other donors to complement the role of the IMF, namely the Asian Development Bank, World Bank and Japan Bank for international cooperation for co-financing. He pointed out that their response has been lagging. Let's take a small break now. Watching Prime TV News, still in local news. The man who is said to have masterminded the suicide attempt on the life of Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa has been produced before a court remanded. The suspect appeared before Colombo Chief Magistrate Champad Janaki Rajaratna today. He was remanded until the 30th of this month. Another suspect produced by the CID2 was similarly remanded. 6 suspects had previously been arrested over the suicide bomb attack in Kuliapetia on December 1, 2006. Police informed the court that they were still on the lookout for another suspect. Action is being initiated to address immigration and emigration issues impacting the world. A special workshop on the subject was held in Colombo. It was a joint effort by the Immigration and Emigration Departments of Sri Lanka and Australia. More attention was diverted to problems that surface by air passengers. A group of officials, including the Immigration and Emigration Controller of Sri Lanka, P.B. Abekund, participated. In addition to SAARC countries, representatives of several other countries were present. The program mooted by the government to purchase paddy is successful. Minister Maithripala Sirisena said that the cultivators are being assured of a better price.
The minister said any person from the village can come forward as a purchasing representative. Such persons can undertake purchases and transport the stocks to the warehouses. The minister said they are prepared to make payments for the expenditure incurred in the transport of these stocks. He urged the farmer community not to sell their produce to private traders at low prices. He pointed out that the government was making purchases at reasonable prices. More than 150,000 acres have been cultivated with paddy in the Polonnaruwa district. A high yield is being received. 30 rupees is being given for a kilo of samba, while the Nadu variety is being purchased at 28 rupees per kilo. 20 paddy purchasing centers are operative in the Polonnaruwa district alone. Over 200 marketing representatives have been appointed. Facilities needed to purchase 50,000 metric tons have already been met. The government has emphasized that there is no need for the farmers to sell their produce to private traders.
The national ceremony marking the World Water Day was held at the Sirimao Bandaranayake Convention Centre in Colombo. Speaking at this event, Minister Mahinda Amaraweera said that our future target is to advert more attention to supply pure drinking water. A water supply scheme is in progress for the Eastern Province. Its work is nearing completion. Plans are underway to launch another water supply scheme in the north. It has been found that about 35% of the water was being wasted. This has come down to 31%. The government, including the President, had emphasized on World Water Day that the value of the water resources had not been forgotten at a time when the country had embarked on a development drive routing terrorism. The entire world commemorates the 18th World Water Day. This year's theme is Clean Water for a Healthy World.
Save water. Nothing can replace it.
Every year, 1,500 cubic kilometers of wastewater are produced globally. While waste and wastewater can be reused productively for energy and irrigation, it usually is not. In developing countries, 80% of all waste is being discharged untreated because of lack of regulations and resources. Population and industrial growth add new sources of pollution and increased demand for clean water to the equation. Human and environmental health, drinking and agricultural water supplies for the present and future are at stake. Still, water pollution rarely warrants mention as a pressing issue. To do something about that, UN Water has chosen Clean Water for a Healthy World as theme for World Water Day 2010. The overall goal of the